Hey now, everyone. I think this is working. I think we're live. I'm going to just double check for a minute. That's the thing we do on these things, but I believe I should be live on some of our social channels here. Anyways, my name's Happy Cat, and I'm here to talk to you today about the upcoming show we have, the Halloween show next week at our special location, Deadheadland's Plaza in Mill Valley. It's just a private place, and we only give the address to people who are actually coming to the show, but tickets for the show are available. And this is just going to be a really fun Halloween party. We've got all sorts of great things planned. We're going to have, of course, trick or treats and goodie bags. This is for adults, but if you got some kids coming too, just let us know and we'll make a kid-friendly goodie bag. But we do have some special gifts coming from some of our friends, local companies, and such that want to contribute. So Nice Guys, which is a local cannabis delivery company here in Marin, is going to be giving us some of their cool swag to put into our goodie bags. And we also have some Gnarly Head Wine is going to be giving us some contributions for our costume contest. So anyways, there's some extra fun stuff, but the main thing with this party is the music. And we've got a super cool band playing, Pete Sawyer and the Left Hand Monkey Wrench Gang. And this is a cool band. It's similar in the way that Stu Allen and Mars Hotel has different members of the hotel each time. This is a different a lineup each time, but Pete Sawyer is the leader of the band. And so I'm going to bring him in, and we're going to talk to Pete a little bit about the Left Hand Monkey Wrench Gang. Hey, Pete, how are you?
Hey, Brian, how's it going?
Very good, very good. So I think we're live online right now. If not, we're recording and we'll play this back live. But I didn't get clear feedback whether it's actually connected into the Facebook Live event. It looks like it should be. Anyways, but let's talk. How you doing, Pete? It's good to see you.
I'm doing great. It's always great to see you, Brian. Thanks for all you do to get the music out to everybody, man. You're amazing.
Oh, well, you're welcome, and thank you. This band of yours is really cool. Like I said, you do a different gathering each time, although you have some people that have played with you a number of times. And it was really nice to see you. You joined the band for my birthday party a month or so ago, the Sunshine and the Daydreams.
Yeah, that was great.
It just reminded me, because I've seen you with Left Hand Monkey Wrench Gang in the past, but not for a little bit. And it just reminded me what a great guitar player you are. And thank you for playing that day. Really appreciated everything you brought. And I really enjoyed your playing a lot.
Thanks. And that was a super fun event, man. Thanks for having me.
Okay. Oh, and I see Pete is going to be joining us too. So we're going to bring Pete in just a minute. Let me just send him a message.
Yeah, I already emailed him that link. I don't know if he's figured it out.
Yeah. He saw it, and I'm just texting him, and we'll bring him in live in a minute. But I wanted to just ask you, like, what's your inspiration for Left Hand Monkey Wrench Gang, and what's your what was your I guess idea to put this together, and what's your idea behind it?
It basically started off. My friend Luna is a big fan of Bob Dylan and the Dead, and she had a birthday party back in 2019. She said, "Hey, could you just put together a band and play some Dylan and Dead songs?" And I was like, "Sure." Basically, most of my musical career has been involved writing music for various original bands. First, a band called Seconds on End, then a reggae band called Echo Street, and more recently, a band called Brightshine. So I kind of have focused on these really self-contained bands where it's like me and 4 or 5 people making music for years at a time and going and playing gigs and making albums and all that stuff. So it was cool. I had played with Jeremy Honing, who's now in JGB and Echo Street. So I called him up for that gig, and Murphy was in Brightshine at the time. So I called him up. And so these are just good friends of mine that I played in other projects together, but it was like people that had never all played together before. And it was a really fun day out there. We played at this gig out in Berkeley, and I was like, you know what? Everyone in the audience seemed to like it. I had a great time. And maybe I'll try to do this again. So I started doing it and calling different, friends of mine. And then occasionally I would be like, oh, none of my friends can do it. Murph, who else should I call? And so I just kind of all of a sudden ended up meeting new people. And, it's a really amazing community of musicians out here in Northern California, and we really all have Phil Lesh to thank for really starting this massive community. Now all of a sudden there's all these musicians who have played all the songs in all these different configurations, so everybody's super comfortable with showing up and just playing with whoever's there. And so it really, I think it's to me it's deeply connected to the music of the Grateful Dead, that we all are like, we have this community, we all know the tunes, we all love the tunes, and we relish in the chance to improvise together and just create a new band every time. So that, to me, that's the really fun thing about the Monkey Wrench Gang, is that every time it kind of, maybe I have one or two people that I played with last time, but it's a couple of new people, so it changes the spin a little bit. Or sometimes it'll be like 3 people I've never played with before. So like there's all these different ways that it can go, and every time I've literally never had a bad gig with this band. Knock on wood. I'm sure it'll happen eventually, but the point is that it's really exciting for me as a musician, and I've grown and gotten so much better just by virtue of playing with all these amazing people. A good example of which is Pete Lavasoli, who we're going to bring in for the second.
Yeah, let's bring Pete into the conversation here. Yeah, that's really great. That's one of the things I like about the bands, and first off, everybody playing in your band for this next lineup next week is a friend of mine and has participated in Deadheadland at one time or another, either with one of my backyard shows or one of my streaming concerts during the pandemic. Every single one of you have been on Deadheadland as a streamer. So it's kind of like a really cool show for me in that regard. And such great musicians and parts of so many other great bands and communities. So speaking of which,
cool, because I didn't think about that at all when I put the band together. I was just like, well, Pete's in town, so I'll definitely start with Pete, and then just kind of work from there.
It was great, and it's everybody I really like. And speaking of which, I just want to say that our next guest is really just an amazing guy. Has played in so many great bands. Of course, been with Crazy Fingers out in Florida there forever. But with Jazz is Dead, and with O'Teal and Friends, and certainly plenty of times with Mars Hotel, and with so many different bands and lineups. Plus, he's a world-renowned authority on music and an author of books. I mean, this is an amazing man and a good friend of mine, Pete Lavasoli. And now this big intro. Can we hear you, Pete? Oh, we can't hear him.
Oh, so close.
Pete, we can't hear you.
You might be muted.
I don't think he is. No. Pete, can you turn up?
Can you hear us? Give us a thumbs up. Can you hear us, Pete? Okay,
you can hear us.
Maybe go into his preferences or something. I don't know.
Sign language. We just can't hear you, and we did kind of miss the sound check on him, but we see you great, and you can hear us. I've turned your volume up on my end all the way, so there's somehow your microphone's not connecting. But see, I'm going to say go offline and come back one more time. I think we're close, and we'll bring you back. So let's vamp a little bit till Pete comes back.
Our crack equipment crew is working on it. We'll have it taken care of shortly here.
Yeah. So yeah, Pete, see if you can reset your phone, maybe like log out and log back in, and make sure the mic has permissions to work. So this is I'm using software through Streamlabs, and actually I bought it from a different company, and Streamlabs took it over. But anyways, it's working pretty great when it does. And so let's see who else is in the band that wasn't necessarily able to join us today. We've got Elliot Peck, who's again a good friend of mine, and I think this particular year, I think she's done. This will be like the 5th show, Deadheadland show she's done with us. She did a solo show, or no, the 4th. She did a solo show, and she did 2 with Scott Law, and now joining the Left Hand Monkey Wrench Gang. You've played with her a lot, right?
Actually, this is the first time I played with Elliot.
Oh, okay. I thought she's done Left Hand Monkey Wrench Gang before.
Yeah, we've been talking, trying to find a date between our 2 schedules for almost a year. So we're really stoked to actually get to play together, but we haven't done it yet.
Well, very good. Very good. Well, we saw her. I had her play one of my shows just about a month and a half ago with Scott Law. And as always, just amazing. It was actually Scott Law and Graham Lesh also joined in. But Elliot's just amazing. She's just one of those talents. It's just, I mean, everybody's really good, not to knock anybody, but there's just something extra special.
Something special. I agree completely.
She brings it always. Her energy is great. And of course, she's an incredibly nice person. And,
yeah.
So what, any surprises coming playing with Elliot or anything we should,
well, what I try to do when I put together set lists for the band is like ask people what are the songs that you really like to sing in the Dead catalog. So we could I always like to bring people's favorite stuff that they like, and I encourage people to kind of pick stuff that's off the beaten path. I mean, of course, we always end up doing the kind of more stuff that's China Cat, Sunflower, Terrapin Station, all the stuff that everyone knows. But I like bringing in some stuff that maybe people haven't heard as much before. So I don't want to spoil it, but we got a couple of pretty special ones coming from Elliot for sure.
Okay, no spoilers. I'm not necessarily asking for the set list, but I do want to, for anyone that hasn't seen Left Hand Monkey Wrench, let folks. This is a Grateful Dead band. You are doing Grateful Dead, but you're not like Dark Star Orchestra. You're not trying to do a reproduction of,
Correct. I kind of describe us as being a midpoint between Dark Star and J-Rad, and I love both of those bands. They both do amazing stuff. J-Rad for me just kind of takes it to a completely other place, and it doesn't really sound like the Grateful Dead, which is awesome. And then Dark Star sounds exactly like the Grateful Dead, which is also awesome. So I'm more used to coming from an original music perspective, so I like to bring my own spin, particularly to the jams. But as a Deadhead who's seen Jerry a bunch of times, there are certain things that I like to have there if you play a song like Terrapin Station or Scarlet Begonias. So I kind of try to find this middle ground where it does feel like home if you're a Deadhead, but it still goes places that you maybe haven't seen it go before.
Okay. Well, I think that's what I like about it. Dark Star is the band that nails it in terms of like that, like we're just going to nail the sound, and that's great. But I like bands that play it. That's why, I've been seeing Cubensis for, they're a great example. And that's I grew up in Southern California, and that's what I always liked about them is they're raw and into it, and they're playing it Grateful Dead style by just playing it and playing the heck out of it, but not necessarily trying to exactly reproduce that date or whatever. There's one band that does that, and they do it really well.
Yeah, I agree completely. They're amazing.
Pete's back. Let's see if
all right, come on, Pete. Let's see if this mic can work.
Hello?
Hi, yeah.
We can hear you. Welcome, Pete Lavasoli. How are you?
How's it going? Good to see you guys. Good to see everybody. Looking forward to playing with Pete and Scott and Justin and Elliot Peck. It's just going to be fantastic. Can't wait.
Can't wait either.
Yeah. So just to remind everybody, that's why, I like seeing you. It's good to see you, Pete. I haven't seen you for a really long time, really.
Good to see you too, Bri.
Yeah.
Always.
But just to remind people, we're having a Halloween party. It's a week from today. It's a daytime party, but we want to encourage Halloween costumes, whatever that is. It can be simple, but there is a costume contest, and we have great prizes.
Tell everybody where it is again.
So this is in Mill Valley, and the location is secret, i.e. you have to buy a ticket, and we'll send you the address, but it's really easy to get to. It's not deep in Mill Valley, easy freeway access, easy parking. It's a backyard location that we've done many Deadheadland shows at. So those of you who've been to my shows before will know where it's at, but we'll send the address out when you buy a ticket.
Okay.
And it's a really cool spot. It's a friendly neighborhood. They don't mind us doing shows. We can be loud and have a rocking good time. We provide seats. It's a great view. It's just a really nice thing. It's different than going to a club. It's intimate. It's friendly. It's a great hang. And yet you guys are going to bring a full rock and roll show. We're going to get 2 sets of solid music. So.
Oh, I can't wait.
I can't wait.
It's a fantastic lineup. I love playing with everybody in this lineup. And this will be the first time that this lineup has played a show together. So I'm really excited about it.
I am too. I'm completely stoked. Playing with you is always a great privilege, Pete, and I can't wait to do that. And Justin,
yeah, same to you, Pete. And it's always great to play with Scott. It's always great to play with Justin. And it's always fantastic to play with Elliot Peck. Always a privilege. So it's going to be an amazing day. I'm very excited
I am
and
too.
thankful.
Yes.
Thankful to be involved.
Yes.
Well, thank you. And so I just checked. I confirm we are live on Facebook. I had some questions. The video is working. I was trying so hard to get you guys to come on and coordinate there. But anyways, Pete, you play in a lot of different bands. You're touring a lot, so it's
Here
nice.
and there. You know, I mean, I'm in the Bay Area as much as I can be. I don't live out there anymore. I used to live there for about 12 years. But you know, the pandemic kind of changed that. South Florida, Miami area has always been my home base. And it remains that today, but I still come to the Bay Area several times a year to play with friends like Pete and everybody that we're going to be playing with.
Well, and so, but in Florida, there you play with Crazy Fingers, right?
I play with Crazy Fingers, and it's always fun. We've been a band for 33 years, and it's always fun. We never use we never use a set list, but that's only possible if you're in the same band with the same lineup for many, many years. When you put different shows together with different lineups, then you have to plan for some things. You have to make choices. You have to find out what people know and all of that. But with Crazy Fingers, we've been doing it for so long that we just start every show. Okay, who's going to do the opening song? And then we have 3 different singers in the band, myself and both guitar players. And one of us will pick an opening song. And then from there, depending on what the mood feels like or what key we're in or what the groove is or whatever feels like a good next step, we just take it from there and we kind of work our way through a show, which is really great for keeping things very spontaneous and fresh. But again, that's only possible if you're in one band, you know. Now, it's also equally exciting and adventurous to play shows with people that are coming together for the first time, because again, you don't know exactly how it's going to sound, and that's what's great about it. You know, you talk about songs, you know what songs we're going to play, but we don't know how it's going to sound and how it's going to feel. We're going to find out when we get there. And that's what's great. And that's what's great about it, because we're all good. You know, I know all the musicians in this lineup. We're all great listeners. We're all great improvisers, and we all play with a lot of feeling and a lot of conviction, and we're really good at interacting and responding in the moment. And so that's what makes shows like this possible.
Yeah, I love it. It's the Adventurers Club, you know. It's let's see what happens. So, you know.
Yeah.
And, yeah, very
it's
cool.
Great. As you mentioned a while ago, we all have Phil to thank for this. You know, we all miss going to Terrapin Crossroads and being able to, you know, have live music on a very regular basis every day, every evening at Terrapin, pretty much. I had many great experiences playing with Phil at Terrapin Crossroads. And you know, we all miss it. But having said that, we can all be grateful that we did have this really special, beautiful place that we could call home for many years. That was never a given.
Yeah. And, you know, I have to say that it was certainly a big part of what started me doing these little Deadheadland concerts. I mean, I've always wanted to do something along these lines, but Terrapin was such a big inspiration. And then, of course, you know, we all did whatever we did during the streaming. And I want to thank both of you guys. You both did shows for me. And then, you know, Pete, you did a couple of solo things, but then you brought me Crazy Fingers. So we did several Crazy Fingers shows on Deadheadland. And Bright Shine also. You know, both of you are Pete, I realize.
Yeah.
You know, so it was great to have you guys do that. But then missing that community, you know, me and a few others in the area started putting together different little backyard gigs where we now have like a scene that's this cool little private party thing. And so that's, you know, one of the things that came out of it. What's nice is they always feel like reunions. Ross James came out last year and did one of our shows at the same location we're going to be at next week. And he said then this felt like a reunion to him, and seeing faces he hadn't seen for a long time. And so it's a great collection of people that come out for the show. So, and speaking of which, it looks like Scott Cooperman's ready to join us as well. So hopefully we did audio or sound check with him, but Scott, let's see if this works. Oh.
Hey, you guys.
Let's make you bigger. Hey, Scott, how are you?
Hey, Scott.
That's what I need in life, is to be bigger.
Well, we're making you're the star now, since you're the new guy. So we can see you and hear you. So good to see. Somebody has a extra speaker on. We're getting a little feedback, but I don't know who it's. I don't think it's you, Scott. We had it before.
It's not me. I'm just on my phone, obviously, my shaky phone.
But that's all right. Here, I'm gonna. Oh, it's Pete.
Pete.
Because it goes away when Pete. Which Pete?
Pete Lavazzoli.
Because it went away when I muted him. There you go.
You were Scott. You were sideways, and now you're upside down.
Oh, okay. Let's.
No, he's right side up for me.
I see him right side up. Yeah.
So Pete, maybe you need to smoke another J or something, dude.
Yeah. Don't mind me. Never mind.
Anyways, hi Scott. How are you?
Lay down upside down or something. I don't know.
No, you look good. You look good here. So
I'm doing okay. Thank you.
And I haven't seen you for a while either, which is weird because you live just up the street. But
that is very true. And you haven't seen me, I haven't seen you. So
I haven't seen you out walking the dog, and you're out. And you've been busy too. You tour a lot. You've been with Gilmore Project and a lot of other bands as well. And
yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've had a great tour with Gilmore Project earlier in the year, and we don't have anything else coming up until February, but we've got a very exciting bunch of dates coming up and tours coming up for next year that Pete, I believe, is a part of as well. Ooh. So that's all I can say.
Very good. Yeah. And and you've played with, both of you actually have played with Left Hand Monkey Wrench Gang before, correct?
Yes, we have. Pete,
yeah.
We played that in up in Humboldt, you and I, or last
night. We played in Eureka.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was a lot of fun.
Oh, it was fantastic.
Pete drove there, took a 5-hour ride there, and took a 5-hour ride back after.
Just turned around and drove home.
That's rock and roll.
That's what I said. That's impressive.
Yeah. So you have some history of all of you have played together in some form or another, and but this is just going to be a brand new thing next week. You've got and then Justin, who's not able to join us right now, and Elliot also are part of the band.
Yes. Yes. I was just in New Mexico with Justin. We had a really fun show as a country band. So he's way more versatile than me. And
he's amazing. His solo records are beautiful and amazing.
They really are.
He plays guitar as well. He's playing bass. Most of us know him as a bass player. That tends to be what he does in these combos. But his records are beautiful. I highly recommend you check them out. And
I've known Justin longer. I've known Justin longer than anybody else in this lineup because Justin was the bass player in the Melvin Seals JGB band just before I joined.
Oh, okay.
So right when I was getting to know Melvin and Stu Allen, 2008, 2009-ish, Justin was in the band at that point. That's when I met him, and we've known each other ever since. So that was actually several years before I met Scott, Elliot, Pete, and so on, Pete.
And then you were with Melvin. You were with Melvin and JGB for a long time. You were like
a little over 10 years.
The longest standing member at that point. Yeah.
At that, John Paul has been with him now for 10 years as well. So, So John Paul has definitely been a very, solid force in that group
Oh,
for a decade.
absolutely. I love what he
Yeah.
does in that band. In fact,
Mhm.
him and Jeremy are really
Fantastic.
they're what a great combo and what they do with
Yeah.
the band,
Yep.
Yeah, I love it.
Mhm.
Well,
And
they
with
both,
John Kay.
yeah, and they've both at different times been in Left Hand Monkey Wrench as well, correct? And
That's correct. Yeah, I played with
yeah.
both
So
of
you
them.
kind of switch. That's just kind of emphasizing that you switch the lineup together, but it's this local community of folks that all play with each other, all play nicely with each other.
That's right.
Yeah, I'll say that Pete has this kind of ever changing lineup, and it's never been disappointing. You're good at choosing the right people, Pete.
Yeah.
Well, it's hard to go wrong with this community of folks. So many great musicians and great human beings. I've had such a blast getting to know everybody the past couple of years. It's been great.
Mm-hmm. And
Likewise.
you play all different eras of Grateful Dead? Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, anything is game. I love, I've been challenging myself because, as I said, I spent most of my musical life playing an original project. So, I'm been a Deadhead forever, but I've never really played the music on stage. So, there's one thing to know a song, and there's another thing to know it on guitar and play it in front of people. So, I've been challenging myself to continue to branch out, bring in new songs. Scott and I did Mason's Children a little while ago, and that was super fun. And, picking out stuff that you normally don't hear Dead bands do and try to bring that stuff in there has been super fun for me.
That's what I love too. It's great to be able to play with, if you're going to play Grateful Dead music, it's great to be able to draw from all of the different eras, from the Pigpen era in the in the late 60s, all the way through into the 90s. That's one thing that I learned a lot from my friend who's no longer with us, but his picture is right here. This is Dick Latvala of Dick's Picks fame. Became a very good friend in the last period of his life, and obviously somebody that taught all of us so much about listening to the band's history throughout the entirety of the Dead's history, studying the music, being able to make really informed choices about the greatest shows to put out for release. And just it was fascinating to go through his notebooks and see all of these very meticulous notes that Dick would make show by show. And so that's all just to say in honor of Dick here that he also had a panoramic view of the Grateful Dead. I mean, he had his favorites. He loved the earlier years a bit more, but he also was a very dedicated listener and enthusiast of the 80s, the 90s, the Brent era, the Vince era, all the way through the entire history. And I think that's really important because the songwriting never diminished for the Dead. Robert Hunter, Garcia, John Barlow, Bob Weir. I mean, they were always writing songs into the 90s, and they certainly never wanted to rest on their laurels of their, older hits. They kept writing new material, and that's very important. They wanted, it's important for me that the Grateful Dead not only were a great improvising band, but they were a songwriting band all the way through.
As many of you know, I'm a big fan of perhaps what we should call like the lesser popular songs of the Grateful Dead, including a lot of the newer stuff from the 90s, even the Phil songs and even the Vince songs, which, by the way, Scott knows all the Vince and Brent songs. So if there's any stuff out there that you haven't done, Samba in the Rain or
I have a soft spot for some of those songs.
I know you do.
I love Samba in the Rain. It's a great song.
Yeah,
interesting.
Both. I don't want to scare people away from coming to the show.
It's interesting. Both of the Vince songs that they played were both in C minor. Isn't that right? Way to Go Home and Samba are both C minor, I believe.
Is true.
Yeah, but Samba in the Rain has this really unusual chord progression. I mean, it's a very I'm a big
back 1 second. Let's go back 1 second. I'm going to argue that not Samba in the Rain.
Well, actually, Way to Go Home is more like C7. It's like C down.
Yeah, that's not mine.
You knew what I was going to say.
Yeah. More like C7. But I think that in general, the key of C was good for Vince's range vocally, it seems.
Yeah.
And but big fan of both of those songs. They're both very different. Just to kind of have a quick detour about Vince here, both of them are Robert Hunter lyrics, but they're both very different. Way to Go Home kind of has this very bluesy rock kind of, it's almost like West LA Fadeaway for Garcia, in the sense that it was the kind of tune where Garcia could really shred, just really dig in on the guitar. In the solo of Way to Go Home, after the bridge, he could really dig in and shred like he would do in West LA Fadeaway. Samba in the Rain was a much more sophisticated, unusual chord progression that definitely has, and I think that Vince wrote it that way because of the samba theme. It definitely has a little bit of a Brazilian, almost like an Antonio Carlos Jobim kind of a chord thing happening that you might hear in some Brazilian popular songs. So, but I, definitely overlooked in the Grateful Dead canon for sure. Yeah.
Well,
I
and
think
then
kind of
also, and I know
piggybacking
Pete might know some of the Phil songs.
Yeah, all of them.
Wave to the
big
Wind
fan,
or Childhood's End or
big fan of Childhood's End. Big fan. Childhood's End is very special because that was a song that Phil wrote entirely on his own, words and music. Childhood's End, the lyric as well as the melody. If the Shoe Fits, also another song, written with the lyrics by a man named Andrew Charles. So it's the only thing that Phil had written with this lyricist. But it's another, Shoe Fits is another rocker where you can really get in there and shred some rock and roll on Shoe Fits. Wave to the Wind with Robert Hunter on lyrics, I think never really had a chance after 1993 to continue to develop. It's interesting. When you first heard it in 92, it went through some changes in 93, and I thought that it was really developing, and then it just kind of disappeared, which is unfortunate.
Yeah. And Phil dropped it from his repertoire. Didn't do it with, I don't think, ever with any of the Phil and Friends or
No.
Yeah. So very interesting. Well,
yeah.
Not that you're going to focus on that stuff, but if you wanted to throw a couple of rarities in there, Pete, great. So well, just want to remind people we're doing a big Halloween party next week. It's an afternoon, daytime show. The weather should be about 70 degrees. So sure, yeah, bring Bay Area, bring a hoodie or a beanie, but it'll probably be nice and sunshine and dance space. It's a really lovely backyard with a great view, and the sun will be setting just a little bit after the show, but it's a great spot to view the sunset and hang out. Good group of people that come to the shows, but we do have some tickets available. And I wanted to emphasize the goodie bags that we'll be giving away because it's Halloween. We've got trick-or-treat goodie bags, but they're going to be a little extra nice for the VIP people. With a VIP ticket, it's just $15 more. You get a poster, you get a laminate, you get a extra special goodie bag with like free music and stickers and who knows what else in it. And the costume contest, we have prizes. We've got great prizes coming from, we're going to give tickets to future Deadheadland shows. We're going to give records from different people that are playing there. We've got some surprises. Gnarly Head Wine has donated some wine. So it's just going to be a fun party and a little bit extra because it's Halloween than my other backyard concerts that we've done. So, and these guys are going to play along with Elliot and Justin, and it's going to be a great time. So I don't know. Anybody want to add anything or say anything about the show? Or
just that
I'm excited.
I'm stoked. Yeah.
You know what? I will say this, right? It's these sort of like holiday gigs, and I'll tell you one thing is Halloween is probably my favorite holiday of the year. But New Year's Eve, Christmas Eve, whatever, Halloween, sometimes you have gigs on these nights or close to the night, and it's a celebration of that said holiday. I always feel like it's important to be with friends, and my friends are musicians, and I feel very lucky to be with all these guys that you lined up, Pete, including you. So I'm just stoked to spend my Halloween with you guys.
Thanks, Scott. The feeling is absolutely mutual, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. Well, it sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun, and we want some of you out there to come along. The link's right there where to get tickets, deadheadland.com/Halloween23. This is in Mill Valley, California, so I realize this stream is going out to Deadheadland nationwide. So I realize if you're not from here or going to be here, well, we might end up streaming the show as well, but only if we sell all the tickets first. So
Yeah, we'll wait on that.
we'll wait on that. No official announcement yet, of course. But anyways, thank you guys so much for coming in today and hanging out with me.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian, for putting together this awesome show, man. We really appreciate it.
Oh,
Yeah.
You're very welcome. And I look forward to seeing you all in person next week and hearing the music and dancing myself. So thank you.
1 week from today.
That's right.
1 week from today. It's an afternoon show, matinee show. So plenty of time if you want to go to some of the other fun things happening Saturday night, Halloween weekend. So very good. All right. Thank you all.
Friends.
I'm going to take you out now. Bye,
Cheers, everyone.
Scott.
Peace and love.
Bye, Pete.
Peace.
Bye, Pete. All right. And thank you, Deadheadland. See you later. Bye.